Welcome to the RiverView. My name is Irene Whibley.
And my name is Mary Marucci.
I'm Joy Green.
And I'm Marlene Lehman. Last week we were talking a little bit about Guelph, and today we would like to continue with our talk for a few minutes. And Mary, you have something very interesting to talk about and to show us. So would you like to continue?
Well, I would like to show you the home I was brought up into. I lived here since I was, I'd say, a year old. And this is a plaque that my neighbor made when I was leaving. I hated to leave things behind and forget what the house looked like, so my neighbor says, well, I'll do something for you. And I says, well, I want to take my mailbox, letterbox, and I want to take my doorbell, and I want to take the house. So, okay, and I think that's about it.
Well, I think it's really interesting that you lived in that house as a youngster, and then you took it over when your family were gone,
Yeah.
and you remodeled it, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the family that are in there now?
No, I think it's
No.
changed hands about twice.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
But that's really nice to be able to bring something of your home with you. It's quite an idea that your neighbor that did that, did he think of that himself then?
Yeah,
Yes.
he did.
That's very, very nice. Can you hold up a picture of your home then to show as well?
And this is the house.
And we don't want you to cry, so there you are.
I did.
Now I understand that people are putting those letter slots in their new homes because so many people go away on vacations. That way your mail goes in and on the floor behind the door.
And no one can read my love letters.
Well, that's it. So, well, that was very, very nice, Mary. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Yes.
So, Joy,
Yes.
you were on a little tour on Sunday with your
Oh.
family. So, can you tell us about your tour?
Well, as I say, Guelph is not little Guelph anymore. It's so all over the place. It's almost like a small Toronto now. Guelph. It's so large now that it's you know. And you go up to the university, and that used to be the OAC and the OVC. Now it's going to be the center of Guelph. Really is going to be up there in time. You know.
With all the building of new
Yes,
homes and
yes.
things.
And as I say, and then just recently, the church where we used to live, which was down on Neath Street, the church, United Church, Paisley Memorial United Church, was put on the market, and it's been sold, and it's really, you know, they have beautiful stained glass windows in it and everything like that. And but one thing they're going to do, who has bought it, they're going to keep the windows are going to be, you know, they're not taking them out and going to break them up and throw them away, and you know, because I think it's one of the most beautiful churches to even be in and see all the beautiful windows. And
So were you
and
baptized in that church as
Yeah.
well? So it really has special meanings for
Oh
you and
yes,
your family.
and we live just around the corner from it on Neath Street, and then plus that, as I say, everybody attended this church from there, and it was great. And we were all brought up in that church and married. Actually, we were all married. And
So it
you know,
really
my
has
sister-
special meaning for you
Oh,
and your
yeah,
family.
my
as
sister,
well.
and we were all married in there. And yeah, it's a beautiful church.
Well, I was really interested in your article because I went to a few meetings there in your little hall that you have at the side there.
Oh yes.
But I always wondered why they called it Paisley Memorial, because Paisley Street is at the other end of Guelph on the way to the Collegiate and by the Guelph Library. So now I know then
Yes.
your church, did it burn down, did you say?
Yes.
And then, so when they built this then, it carried its name over.
Right
So
from Paisley, because this was
Yes.
the one that was up in Paisley, and so they carried it up and brought it down here. And as they say, there's going to be 2 pastors that are going to be in it now, and it's called Evangelical Church.
Evangelical.
Yeah, and it has 100 people that attend it, and I think it's great. I'm so happy that they've left it as a church rather than, you know, and they're going to keep the stained glass windows. At least
Yes.
they're going to preserve them and designate them under the Ontario Heritage Act. So I don't know what that, but it's a beautiful church. It's just beautiful.
So where else did you and your family go on Sunday to tour on your little tour of Guelph?
Well, we had to eat out, so at a lovely restaurant right across from the OR. I can't remember the name, but it was really, really nice. And then we toured all over Guelph. I don't know why. Bob likes to do that. We toured. Guelph's not little Guelph anymore. It's huge, you know.
So I understand you ended up back on your old St. Catherine Street where you and Irene used to live together.
Yes, we did. And they've torn the school down across the road that our kids went to. They've torn it down and now they're putting a new one up. So it's different, really different. But hey, well, that's great.
Maybe when they have that new school, then maybe they'll have the old neighborhood, the old families that attended the others. King George, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be nice to go back then to the new school when they have the dedication of the school? That would be really nice.
Well, on the whole street, there's only one couple, one person on the whole street that lived there when we lived there. One person.
Wow,
And that's the Millie girl. Yeah.
that's really nice. That's
David
really
Smith's
nice.
sister, isn't it? David Smith's sister still lives there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's the only one. Yeah, yeah. But,
Well, that's sure. Guelph sure is, really expanding. But it's nice what they're doing downtown with some of the old spots. For example, I've got a little note here about the new Guelph Museum. That used to be my high school, Loretta Convent. And they tore the convent part of this, like the high school part is down. But the original convent where the nuns lived that taught us, that building is still standing. And they're using that, and they've added on quite a bit to make it into the new Guelph Museum. It is already open. Everything isn't on the shelves and everything isn't placed the way they want to have it just yet. But it'll make a nice little trip for us to go sometime
I wonder
to see it.
what they're doing with the old museum.
I haven't heard anything. That was the Knights of Columbus Hall down on Waterloo Avenue, wasn't it? Well, somebody will likely buy that. Yes, yeah. So that's how things change around.
yeah.
And also I brought another older picture from Guelph. And that's a picture from the newspaper on the weekend. It's in the Guelph Mercury and the Record. And it shows...
Oh, Doyle's. I used to go in that store. I'd have 5 cents or 10 cents, and I'd go in and buy all the broken peanut brittle. Oh yeah, and Mary Bloody and I. And we'd have a whole bag of it, and then we'd go down to Guthrie's the next time.
Yeah,
and
to buy their
buy
crumbs.
the stale cakes.
Same street.
I ate all the way home from school. When I got home, my mother would say, "How come you're not eating?" I had all the cakes and candy.
Well, this is kind of a special place for me too, because
Peanut brittle.
Because
all the broken
the,
pieces, you know.
the girl that sent the
It's
picture in,
cakes.
it gives her name Nora, and her married name is here. Nora and her twin brother Neil were in my class all through high school, from grade 1 right through to high school.
For goodness
And they were the most popular kids at recess because they brought a sponge taffy with them that their dad made. Danny Doyle was the dad, and he used to make that candy.
And remember Vanna was on the corner too.
Yes.
But you can't really see it unless you look through a magnifying glass, but in the window are the big tall Easter bunnies that he used to make. And along the bottom are those fancy Easter eggs with the flowers on the top. And he'd even write your name on, Yeah, so that's what this picture is. So next weekend, if you look at your paper on Saturday, you'll see all the responses to this picture that people phone in or email in. So that makes it really nice too. So Irene, I understand that your father worked at the OR, but maybe you could tell us what the OR stands for, because some of our viewers might not know what the OR was.
Well, the OR was the Ontario Reformatory, and it had been a hospital and was changed from a military hospital into the Ontario Reformatory.
So that's where prisoners were
So
kept.
that's where the prisoners would come.
So was your dad a guard there?
Yes, he
And
was.
your dad
My
was
dad
as
a
well.
guard, and my husband's dad was a guard there, too.
And it's only the last 10 years? Was it closed just within the last 10 years? Or a little more than that?
Yes.
Is there anything in there now?
I think
don't
it's empty.
know.
I think it.
That land is not owned by Guelph. That's why Guelph never really expanded out the York Roadway. Like the airport is out there,
Yeah.
but Guelph didn't expand out that way because that belonged to the Ontario government, that land.
The land,
So I wonder if it's been given to Guelph or what's going on.
I don't know. I don't
There
know.
was some talk, I read somewhere, that the university is trying to either buy it or use it as residences because they're so short of their housing
That's
at the
right.
university.
Well, the Legion was around there. The
Not
Legion.
quite as far out.
Well, yeah, it's on the front of that property, yeah.
But that's where we used to go and swim out there.
That's right.
Every
Yeah.
day in the summer holidays.
That's right. And I think it's still
Everybody went
used.
there.
Very
She went
dangerous
skinny
place.
dipping there.
Oh, I
We had a lot of fun.
see. I know the water was really deep there because
It was very deep.
as kids you weren't really allowed to cross the whole pond. You had to, unless you had somebody with you.
Oh yeah, but you.
Yeah.
But one of the ladies at the table here had to cross the
Oh
pond.
yeah, you could.
Oh, you
swim
mean this
across
lady
one.
here?
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Well, she always does the opposite, doesn't she? Okay, so that brings us to our next topic then, about talking about seasons. So, my favorite season is autumn. I always like the autumn part of the year. The weather's not too hot, maybe just right. The crops are in and ready, your gardens are ready and beautiful. And the flowers always seem to get their nicest right before a frost. Yeah.
And so coming into the winter, who won?
So what's your favorite season, Irene?
Well, I think maybe it's spring.
Yeah.
Because everything's coming alive and
Yes.
after
yes,
a severe winter.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
Yeah. So that's spring you like? What do you like, Mary?
Summer.
Oh, tell us why you like summer.
Well, I just like it.
Well, you lay your long
Well, I
walks.
used to like it more so when I could lay out in the sun, but now I'm not allowed to do that.
No, no.
You know?
Yeah.
Why not?
you scare the neighbors.
Because of my eye. Medications, you know what happens.
Oh dear.
Well, I agree. Summer is a very nice time, and
yes, yes.
nice to get out and be with your family outside.
And have a nice cold drink, you
I
know.
see.
And,
Yeah.
Well, Charlie will come in handy then.
oh, Charlie, I keep her cold right now.
And it isn't as hard to get around in the spring and the summer as it is in the winter.
Mhm.
Like, you know, even
Or
to
you go
walk
to the
around.
beach and,
Yes, yes,
you know.
yes, that makes it nice. Great.
So, what's your favorite, Joy?
Well, I would say spring and summer too.
Gee, I thought you'd say Christmas with a name like Joy. So you-
yes, spring and summer I like best because you could go anywhere, you could walk anywhere that you know, and you didn't have to have a car in the olden days.
No.
You could walk to
Wherever.
the band concert up at Riverside or up at
Oh, yes.
Exhibition Park.
remember hold hands and walk around, see who was going to follow you home.
That's where we learned to walk miles, walking around the band concert
That's
show.
right, and listen to the band
Band
play.
concerts.
Oh, I never ever heard a band playing. I was too busy watching to see who was there.
And who was going to walk you home? Yeah. Okay.
My mother, because we just lived down London Road Hill from there, eh? My mother used to say, "Oh, I'll come along." Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh,
And they'd be waiting up to see what time you're getting in.
yeah. They were great, great years.
Or if they kissed you goodnight.
Oh, that mom used to put the light on
Gee,
the
that was
veranda
terrible.
so the guy couldn't come to the veranda to give, because he might give you a kiss, you know. Run around the backyard with him before.
Well, if I was your mother, I'd be putting a light in the backyard.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, I wouldn't have changed.
Well, in
one
today's
thing
paper,
ever,
it talks
ever.
about warm spring may follow the winter that wasn't. So they're calling for kind of a warm spring, but maybe a wet one. And that won't hurt us because we need the
No,
moisture for
exactly.
the crops. So
Mhm.
that's what they're kind of predicting now. So
Thank you for watching the RiverView.
see you next week from Schlegel's Tropical Hideaway. Marlene?
Joy.
Mary?
Irene. Bye.